Have you found yourself wondering why you no longer enjoy being around people the way you once did? If that question touches something deep inside you, you're not alone. Many people in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s begin to quietly step back from the social groups and interactions they once cherished. This retreat isn't rooted in bitterness or apathy. It's not because you've stopped caring. It's because something within you has shifted. And more often than not, that shift comes from wisdom, not weakness. In this reflection, we'll explore 6 profound and deeply rooted reasons why you might now choose solitude over socializing, even if you once thrived in lively, crowded rooms. These are not surface-level guesses. Each reason touches something real, something many older adults experience but rarely talk about out loud. Some of these truths may surprise you. Others may stir emotions you haven't fully acknowledged. But by the end, you'll have a clearer understanding of yourself and perhaps a bit more grace for the space you've chosen to create around you. Because distancing yourself from certain people isn't always a regretful decision. Sometimes it's one of the most healing and insightful acts of your life. Let's begin with the first reason, the burden of past betrayals. Over the years, we collect more than memories. We carry scars. Some are faint, born of small misunderstandings or brief falling outs. But others cut deeper. Moments when trust was broken, when vulnerability was met with silence or pain. With age, these echoes become louder. We begin to hesitate before opening up again. Not from spite, but because we've learned that not everyone has earned the right to be close to us. Take Chloe Hour, an 81-year-old woman who once hosted weekly dinners filled with music and laughter. As the years passed, a friend betrayed her trust. Another disappeared after her husband's death. It wasn't a single event that changed things, but a slow, painful collection of disappointments. Today, Chloe prefers solitude, not because she dislikes people, but because she values peace more than pretense. There's a kind of quiet armor that forms later in life. It's not about closing yourself off. It's about being discerning. You've likely spent years offering love, patience, and forgiveness, only to be left emotionally bruised. That pattern teaches you to pause, to reflect, to protect your heart. Psychologists call this relational fatigue, when maintaining relationships begins to feel more exhausting than enriching. It's not a failure. It's a sign that you've lived deeply, that you know both the joy and cost of human connection. And now, choosing solitude isn't about shutting people out. It's about honoring your emotional limits and preserving your inner calm. The second reason is the longing for peace over idle chatter. In earlier years, you may have tolerated conversations filled with small talk, gossip, or words spoken just to fill the silence. But now, your tolerance fades. You've come to cherish the serenity of quiet moments. Silence no longer feels awkward, it feels sacred. And once you've tasted the nourishment of true stillness, it's hard to trade it for shallow conversations. Take Henry, a 76-year-old retired salesman, once the life of the party. He now avoids large gatherings unless he feels fully present. When asked why, he simply says, "I'm done talking just to fill the air." This isn't about disliking people, it's about craving meaning. As you age, emotional energy becomes precious. The need to impress, to entertain, to prove yourself slowly vanishes. Instead, there's a hunger for what's real, conversations that are heartfelt, authentic, and grounding. And when those aren't available, many of us would rather sit with a book or a cup of tea than engage in empty noise. There's strength in choosing who you spend your time with, and wisdom in protecting your peace. You've earned the right to say no without guilt. Because in the end, richness in life isn't measured by how many people surround you, but by the depth of your connection to yourself and others. If you've made it this far and this resonates, comment number 2 below and let us know you're here. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so and turning on notifications. Your support allows us to continue sharing stories that reflect and uplift your experience. Now let's move on to number 3, the sense that people don't understand you anymore. At a certain point, the world around you changes, and so do you. The pace quickens, values shift, slang and social norms become foreign. Conversations feel different. Expectations feel overwhelming. And suddenly, you might begin to feel invisible, not because you become less, but because others no longer take the time to truly see you. Ella, a 79-year-old former teacher, used to love sharing stories with her younger relatives, how she raised 5 children while working full-time, volunteering, and holding her home together. But now they rarely ask. They smile politely, distracted by their phones. It's not unkindness, it's disconnection. And over time, that gap starts to feel like a canyon. This kind of loneliness isn't about being alone. It's about being misunderstood. You can be in a room full of people and still feel like no one truly hears you. You offer your thoughts, they change the subject. You voice a worry, they downplay it. Slowly, you begin to retreat, not because you're bitter, but because silence feels safer. Psychologists refer to this as emotional invalidation, when your thoughts and feelings are subtly dismissed. It's not always intentional, but it hurts nonetheless. And so, you stop offering pieces of yourself. But let me be clear, your voice still matters. Your experience holds wisdom. If others can't hear it, that's a reflection of their world, not your worth. Sometimes the solution isn't to push your way back in. It's to seek spaces where you don't have to explain yourself, where your presence is enough. And when those spaces are hard to find, solitude becomes a gentle refuge. In that quiet, you are fully seen by yourself. Now, reason 4. The fear of being a burden. As we grow older, there's a silent fear that starts to settle in, not just of aging or illness, but of being an inconvenience. You don't want to interrupt busy schedules. You hesitate to ask for help, even when you need it. So you pull back. You stay home, not because you're stubborn, but because you care. You don't want to be someone others have to work around. Invitations are turned down not from disinterest, but from love. From a desire not to cause disruption. Herbert, an 84-year-old widower, used to visit his daughter's family every weekend. But as his mobility declined, he started saying no more often. When asked, he said, "They've got careers, kids, I don't want to be in the way." Though his family never made him feel unwelcome, his fear outweighed his longing. And that's something many older adults quietly carry. A reluctance to ask for support, even when they've spent their whole lives giving it to others. You want to be loved freely, not out of obligation. And when you fear your presence might cause stress, retreat feels like the kindest option. But please remember, if someone truly loves you, your needs are not a burden. They're an opportunity to show care. That fear, while deeply human, doesn't define your worth. Still, it shapes behavior. You hold back when you want to speak. You sit out when you long to join. You hide pain to avoid becoming too much. And over time, that fear quietly pushes you into isolation. If this resonates, please comment number 4 below and stay connected. Your voice here means something. And if you haven't subscribed, we'd love to have you with us. Your support keeps this community growing. Let's move to number 5, the quiet fading of old relationships. Not every ending is loud. Some friendships don't end with arguments. They simply dissolve. Lives head in different directions. Priorities shift. One lunch gets missed, then another. Eventually, you realize those once constant voices are no longer part of your daily rhythm. It doesn't always hurt. Sometimes it even brings peace. But often, there's a soft grief that lingers for what once was. Victoria, a 73-year-old woman, used to walk weekly with her high school best friend. Over time, those walks became monthly, then yearly. Eventually, they stopped altogether. "We still care about each other," she said, "but I think we've said everything we needed to say." Friendships often form around shared life phases, raising kids, working together, living nearby. But as those phases pass, the connection sometimes fades. That's not a failure. It's evolution. As you grow more in tune with yourself, you begin to recognize who lifts you and who drains you. You choose peace, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Growing older means letting go, not always from loss, but from clarity. You've come to value time and energy in new ways. So when a connection no longer fits, you may choose distance, not because you're withdrawing, but because you're honoring who you are now. Finally, number 6, the joy of being on your own. At a certain stage, You stop chasing company and begin to cherish your own presence. This isn't about isolation or sadness. It's about finding something many never do: contentment in solitude. After years of noise, work, caregiving, expectations, you now welcome the stillness. It feels sacred. You don't have to explain yourself or perform. You can just be. James, an 82-year-old once known for his social nature, now finds more happiness watching birds on his porch than hosting parties. "I've got enough memories in my head to keep me busy," he says with a smile. That's not loneliness. That's peace. Others may misunderstand this shift and worry, but in truth, you're tuning into a new rhythm, a quieter, more authentic way of living. You stop trying to fill silence. Stop trying to meet others' expectations. You move on your own time now. And for the first time in a long while, you feel whole. If you're still reading and this touched you, comment number 6 below. Your presence here matters. Subscribe if you haven't. We're building a space for stories like yours to be seen and heard. So, what spoke to you most today? Was it the fear of being misunderstood, the fading of friendships, or the discovery that silence can be healing? Whatever it was, let it remind you of this: you're not fading, you're transforming. Stepping back doesn't mean you're broken. It means you've grown. And in that growth, there's beauty, dignity, and freedom. You've earned the right to protect your peace, to choose meaning over noise, and to find joy in your own company. You are not alone in this path. Others walk it too, quietly, bravely, and with deep awareness of what truly matters. Thank you for spending your time with us today. Leave a comment and share one insight you'll carry forward. Your voice encourages us, and it's a gift we cherish. If this resonated, please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, take care of yourself. You are seen, you are heard, and you are never truly alone.